What's up, great and glorious human beings? Thank you for joining us on this Thursday with our weird schedule, I suppose we have. Today, we're going to be talking about 2.202 in Halo. A few things before we get started. There's some tools that you guys might want to know about that Renada has made. Connor doesn't know I'm mentioning this before it comes on, but he can't say anything right now. So just me. But here we've got Halo releases.remy.dev. Really good tool for being able to track and see some of the features that we're talking about. So if you want to use that, very useful tool. And then we've also been, as a team at Rising Tide, we've been using their reporting tool that they've been building, Elegant Insights. And if you guys are working on reports in Halo and you don't want to deal with learning SQL, they've got a really powerful machine here. So definitely encourage you to check those things out. Without further ado, I'm going to bring Connor and Mendy on to talk about 2.202. Make sure you drop your questions, comments, whatever in the chat. We'll bring them up live. And I'll also try to make a point of bringing up the ID number for the features that we're discussing so you can follow along in your notes on Halo releases.remy.dev. Hey, guys.
Hey, Elle, thank you. Hey,
Yeah,
Connor.
no problem.
Thanks for the plug. I've intentionally not plugged it anywhere, actually. I think I've done a LinkedIn post once, and then Bob's mentioned it in the Discord. We're just, I don't know. I'm a scared little bee. That's the reality. So no, thank you. We're trying hard to make it good. That's the long and short of it. Just to kind of help people out. So yeah, thank you.
Well, I missed you last week, but I saw you had fun with Robbie on the call.
Well, I've been eating humble pie ever since we started 2.0 or 2.200 because I started it. I was like, it's all boring. And then there's so many little gems in there. And we spent 2 hours going through just 2.200. And there were so many little trinkets of, for me, really, loads of little things that are like quality of life and little adoptions in Halo, which was just fantastic. I should also say, by the way, Remy.dev is a purely Robbie project in his own time because he's an utter loser. I can take no credit for that other than just raising bugs. But yeah, that is fully Robbie. I think we host it, but other than that, that's a Robbie passion project. That the reason, by the way, just super quick.
That he fixed, by the way. I just tested searching earlier this morning, and it is working better. So Robbie,
yeah, he loves the fact that me and Mendy have access to it and just bully him for it. But the reason Halo releases.remy.dev exists is because in Halo, when you're searching the versions, and this time we're going to try and pop up, by the way, the versions we speak about, you can't search that version number in Halo. What we do at Renada is we use the API and Remy's dev really to track versions now and when they've been released or not. So yeah, we use this because when we give you the ID of, I don't know, 1082462, you can actually search that in Remy.dev and find the version.
What did you say? 1082642?
Type this one in, 858451, because that is the first one we're going to talk about today.
There you go. That worked out well. Maybe he
worked really well. Bobby's new search is fantastic. Just go back and then do one again. And then do one.
There we go.
There we go. It's got some bugs. It's a passion project. What you do? Community driven. There we go. So 858451. We'll pop that up somewhere. I think Al's going to work some magic. So you can all search this if you need to. But this is report forecasting added. Now, the problem is it says it starts the same way as the ticket one did, but I never spent time to figure out how the ticket one actually worked. Also, we're not on screen, I don't think. Or are we on screen? I don't think we
are not on screen. I don't know how to do that.
There we are. Hey, look at this. I don't know how we got through it last week. I don't know.
We also have dark mode, by the way, in case you don't like the light mode. Like you can do dark mode on the.
Are we going to stream? No, I'll keep using Halo. I'll keep it Halo centric. So what are we talking about then? Report forecasting not dark mode. Geez, I can't even speak. My head's fallen off. Report forecasting added. That's what we're talking about. Forecasting on reports can be done in 2 different ways. 1, create a forecast in config and save the output to saved forecasts. Or 2, create a forecast on the report. Enable the new global settings. Show the forecasting tab on reports in config reporting general settings.
So let's go take a look.
I'm also doing
config, right? And you want me to go to
reporting, please, sir?
Reporting, which is somewhere over here. Reporting.
And then general settings.
General settings.
I'm assuming there's going to be forecasting in here somewhere. Just there, look. Show the forecasting tab on reports.
Okay. Then what do?
Go to a report.
Go to a report. Yes.
I still see the general settings tab. You on another screen?
I went to another tab. My bad.
There we go. Edit, I believe. This is me guessing, by the way. Forecasting. And then we can add a forecast. Now, the question is, I have absolutely no idea how this is even working. Let me just read quickly. I won't read out loud. I can barely read. Yes, the forecasting if you run manually when required. Fine. Create a forecast on the report. I don't understand how it's forecasting, though.
Date, time, value fields from a drop-down with available fields on the report. Check show predicted values on chart. Show predicted values on chart. This chart must be a bar or line chart to use this. So we need to have a chart on the report. And then it does predictive forecasting on the chart.
Yes, in a lighter colored thing. And they seem to be using line graphs as the...
Oh, if we don't do chart, we can do show predicted values on the table to show the forecast output underneath the main report table.
I think what we'll do, if you fancy it, is bench this for this video, and we'll do it separately.
Because this is going to be a
figure
more
it out.
in-depth functionality, and I also think that doesn't it require the time GPT?
Well, this is the problem. We discovered the ticket one didn't, but then I'm like, how is it doing it? Is it just doing math extrapolation times 24 months? But that's not a true forecast, right? So unless it is, I don't know. What I'm going to do right now while we're live is I'm going to email some of our lovely friends at Halo and just ask them if they can provide a little bit more information, and they may get back by the time we finish. And if not,
Do you know if there's a guide already? Have you looked?
Oh, have I looked? I think we both know the answer to that one is no, Mendy.
Yeah, I know. Forecasting. I'm checking. Ticket volumes of forecasting. Check this out. So
there's a guide.
Here's a guide. I'll put that guide in chat.
Well, that's ticket volumes, not report forecasting, right?
Ticket volumes and forecasting. There's the next TLA.
When was this made? 2208. This is really old. This is based on the GPT one. They've released more forecasting now for tickets and this. Yeah.
Reporting on forecast output. No, you're right. That's the older one. Forecast information. Adding forecast existing reports 202.1.
Okay.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is the guide. Predicted.
It's what the release notes say.
Outcome. So this is it. This is literally the guide. So we can take it offline and do like a video around it potentially.
Yeah. But let's not bore everyone for the entire hour.
In version 202.2.202, we actually have this new feature called reporting forecasting. And if you want to use it, there's a guide in chat.
Next. It's going to be a heavy one. It could be really exciting, though. I don't know enough about it. But we'll
allow automatic linking of assets and services. This is the only time you can use this functionality. Maintenance windows can be enabled in tickets. Change management using the setting enable maintenance window. Once enabled, you can create maintenance windows at 4 different levels: global, asset type, site, or asset. Logging a change request. So this is specifically to fall into like the change management functionality, I guess.
Yeah.
With a start and end date, the primary asset will be checked to see if it falls within the maintenance window. This checks the primary asset and any upstream relationship it has, provided each asset type is a service set to true. If any of these assets are outside of a maintenance window, a prompt will be shown asking if the ticket should still be logged. So basically, it's not taking it offline for that maintenance window. It's telling you, like, it's giving you guides on when you can do the change, right? So if there's a maintenance window, ideally you're putting it inside of that maintenance window. That's when you're doing the change, right? While maintenance is happening. But if you happen to choose a time period outside of that maintenance window, then it's going to give you a prompt to say, hey, this is not during maintenance, like regular maintenance. Are you sure you want to schedule it for this time? Or do you want to move the schedule to when regular maintenance is happening? That way you don't have to get like approved downtime or whatever. Like it's a normal maintenance window at that point, right? So that's kind of interesting.
And you can set up a recurring maintenance window as well. I'm trying to understand. There's that line which I can barely read Halo release notes, but there is a setting that ought to also prevent tickets from being logged if the assets are not within a maintenance window.
Yeah. So I think you added the word auto, which is fine, but it doesn't like it's just saying you can't log a change request if the asset is not within a maintenance. Like you cannot request a change during a date and time that's not during a maintenance period. So there's like you can enforce the change requests to only be allowed to happen during maintenance periods.
See, my head went to it would stop tickets being logged for that assets if they're in maintenance window. You know how when you've got RMM alerts,
Good call out because this is from an RMM, right? The period of
Yeah.
the term maintenance window for an MSP, like we're used to the RMM where during maintenance you stop alerts from coming through.
That's where my head went. I was like, oh, it doesn't log tickets, but I don't think that's anything to do with this.
But this is ITSM has nothing to do with that, right?
Yeah.
This is about like change management specifically.
Yeah.
And when you do a change, you want that change to be done during maintenance. So it's the reverse of it, where you can only log a ticket during that maintenance period because that's when the change is allowed to happen, right? So I don't know anyone who's actually using like I think I have one client who's using proper change management actually. I don't actually
have clients using change management, just not the change management feature in Halo.
See, that's what I mean. I mean the change management feature in Halo.
No, I don't. I
have one client doing it properly, and I don't even know for sure because I haven't dug too far into it. But I've seen like references to the functionality they're using, like change freezes and stuff like that. So
there's some horrific config with it, such as like you have like a roadmap or a change window, and it's all hard code. It's a bit gross, but yeah, if you need this thing, you've now got it.
It sounds useful for those who do use it.
Added the Keeper integration. What are we talking about here? Keeper integration is now available, allowing tickets to be created from Keeper alerts. Oh, that's handy.
What is a Keeper alert? Is it Keeper a password manager?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
What kind of alerts does Keeper create?
So you can create your own alerting. So a lot of the time, people that use Keeper high level will link it to a SIEM or something, right? Like Datadog or something to aggregate all the alerts and look at it at a higher level. I really like this because I can set up
or like password breached or like what kind of alert?
Loads of things. You can build your own alerting with it. So we use Keeper at Renada, and this might not surprise you all, quite anal about our Keeper. So we've got a lot of reporting based on who accesses passwords and all sorts. So this is actually quite interesting. I might even expand my alerts for this and do really extensive alerts in here, which is really, really interesting. The good thing is, or the annoying thing is, it's going to make a run book, which means I've then got to maintain a run book. So it's like,
I think they do it though, based off like what we saw with the OpenAI run books that they threw in there. That was a mess initially, and then they eventually cleaned it up. They like as long as they
versions though.
Well, they know the good of the run book, so they can push changes, and it won't necessarily like version it, but it will completely rewrite what you have.
Yeah, but then if you change it, I don't know. That's why I get a bit scared.
It won't work. So don't change the run book directly. Just allow Halo to do it, or copy the run book and make your own to do it essentially, right? So and then you can just use that.
I will play with it once I get access to that version, and we'll see how cool or not it can be. I know a lot of MSPs use Keeper, so it could be a nice thing to have. What we got next, Mendy? Anything exciting? Oh, added the Cloudflare
version. You're not on stable yet?
No.
You're not on 208?
Nope.
When did you get rolled out?
2 weeks, I think. So Renada is on pretty much the last stable rollout, and we've still got a lot of UK clients on 196 still.
Oh, that's crazy.
West Coast America, I think, is first deployments, and that was about 4 weeks ago, I think, when we first started seeing them, and then it rolls over to the east. We let all you beta test it first, and then we get the stable version. That's how I like to think of it.
No, I've been beta testing it since before.
Oh, you're like beta testing it, yeah. You sit in the realm of pain. Yeah, when we finally get it, which I think is a couple of weeks, I'll do a video and feedback if it's good. Cloudflare integration then, Mendy. What we're talking about here, Cloudflare integration is now available, allowing tickets to be created from Cloudflare notifications. Also, I use Cloudflare. Not that I've got many domains, but I've got a handful.
One. Yeah.
There was a ticket run book will not be added to your instance. A webbook will then need to be something Cloudflare to trigger the run book. Okay. And there's a guy.
I was on Reddit, and there's somebody like posted, "Hey, does anyone know how like we can integrate Halo with Cloudflare?" And then like the end of that post was like, he's like, "I built our own integration." He set up a Python server, and he had like all this code. He released it to GitHub, and I'm like, "Why don't you just use the Cloudflare integration that's built in. And they're like, what Cloudflare integration? He was actually on beta or whatever, but so he just didn't know at all. Like that's what I thought he was talking about when he first posted, and then his answer was like, "Oh, I did it all custom." Like, what the heck just happened?
At least you've got control and you know it. Again, looking at this guide, it's a very single step run book, success or failure. I don't know.
But it's better to have like the request handled by Halo natively than to stand up like
100%. Yeah. I wish they wouldn't call it the Cloudflare integration though, and called it the Cloudflare runbooks be added to the repository. That to me is not fair.
But the thing is that so it adds an integration module, so you can put like an API key. Maybe not for Cloudflare, but like for example, Canada, right? Like you have the API, so it's doing the authentication for you, right? Which is still a significant part of the custom configuration and integrations. Which
I just feel if I was buying Halo and I was like, oh, you've got Keeper and Cloudflare, it's like, oh yeah, to go configure the runbook to work it. I'd be like, what? Like it's not. I felt like I had the rug pulled under me, but maybe that's just me. Who knows? I'll move on before getting hot water with the Halo gods. So moving on to we've not said the versions out loud. Oh no, Al's on it. Look at that. Yeah. Fantastic. 99999999568. The item product SKU will now show on the item selection when consigning and invoicing line items or lines from a sales order. Okay. Cool.
Pretty straightforward, I think. Not much there.
I concur.
The quotes list on ticket opportunity now display the status next to the quote. Also pretty straightforward. I guess it's kind of useful.
I like that. I like that a lot.
On the opportunity, right? Like it'll tell you what the status of each one is.
Well, I think we spoke about this. There's also a setting now to hide quotes on a ticket, depending on the status of it.
Statuses,
this is sick. I really like this because if you'd end up, as you said, revising or adding more, you can end up with loads of them. I also like when we add a long note, we just get chopped in half by it. That's good. Hello. Sorry, just being stupid. So what else have we got? It's now possible to mark invoices as down payments when created from sales orders.
This is a huge one.
This is confusing. A product can be selected in configuration sales order, and this will be used on down payment invoices. If deferred revenue is enabled, down payment invoices will also be created as deferred revenue.
So, Connor, I can't see your face anymore because the pop-up isn't.
I'll come down it. Yeah, talk to me. Oh, it's gone.
Okay, but you guys in the UK don't really have a concept of deferred revenue, right? From what I understand,
it's not widely used yet. We do have it. We don't call it deferred revenue. We call it something else, I think. But I've never used it in my life. I understand the concept. You actually explain it for the people, Mendy. It's a useful concept, to be fair.
Yeah. So the idea is, and this is heavily used when it comes to like retainers or prepaid amounts, or even hardware before the hardware is ordered. In some cases. So the idea is that you charge the client, you give them an invoice, and you get paid for that invoice up front. But the actual dollar, like the currency that you collect, doesn't go into your income account. It doesn't hit your general ledger. It goes into like a liability holding account, essentially. And then when you have earned that revenue, when you have either done the work, and so therefore that revenue is yours, you recognize it at that point. So that's the deferred revenue. It goes to a deferred account. It's a holding account. When you order the hardware and then the hardware gets delivered to the client, you then recognize that revenue at that point. So this is most often used in scenarios where you're collecting the revenue on 1 month, but you're actually doing the work or earning the revenue in a different month. So therefore, you're not having like a lag of the finances crossing your different financial periods. So
just as an FYI, in the UK, there's the same concept, maybe worded differently. It's a good way to not pay tax on the revenue you've earned because it's not classed as revenue. However, in the UK, I think there's a 12-month window. So it can get complicated for accounting. But if we invoice for 100 hours of consulting and we're crossing periods, and we've not started yet, we can not realize the gain, I think is what they call it, or something similar. So you don't pay tax on it until you actually do the work. The problem is, or the actual reality is, I think in the UK at least, I could be wrong, if you don't realize the gain in 12 months, I think you're supposed to pay it back or something to the client. It's complicated, but the idea is it's not your money, you're holding it for a time, and then once you cash it in, you can class it as your revenue. If not, it should go back. I think, not a finance guy clearly, but that I did some research into it when this came into Halo. I was like, what the hell is deferred revenue? And then my head fell off and thought, I don't want to touch that if I can. It's scary.
So the down payment, previously with Halo, they added a deferred revenue functionality, which allows you to basically build a prepay contract, take prepay against the deferred item. So you basically have an item in your product catalog that's linked to a deferred revenue income account. And then that goes on the invoice. That invoice is from the prepay contract. And then as time or money is recognized off the prepay contract, you have the option of generating a $0 invoice out of the deferred revenue section in Halo. And so what happens is it just generates an invoice that contains the dollar value for the hours that you worked, and it credits that from the deferred revenue line item, essentially. So you get two items on your invoice. One is like the actual income account item, and the other is the deferred revenue item. And then it just makes it a positive charge to the income account and a negative charge to the deferred revenue account, zeroing out that invoice. And that's the deferred revenue invoice. So what this functionality does is it allows you to build a deposit invoice off of a sales order. So it's expanding the deferred revenue functionality to sales orders. So you can basically create a deferred revenue invoice directly off of the sales order. And then once you do that, you can then go recognize parts of that sales order invoice, or the whole invoice if you want to, out of deferred revenue at that point. So you're not collecting money. You're essentially like billing yourself for that actual a value that you need to recognize.
The curious thing is it reads that you can use this without deferred revenue. And what I don't know is how the idea of a down payment is great, right? £10,000 invoices take £1,000 up front as a down payment and you withdraw it from the 10,000. I don't actually know in practice how that's going to work in Halo or in your accounting package. The theory is great. At the minute, by the way, for clarity, we sell often onboardings that may be spread over a few months. We just percentage invoice it. A down payment would theoretically be a nicer way to do it logically, but Halo never had any functionality other than percentage of invoice. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this works and if it makes my life easier or not. I actually
leave it when I see it. That's a good point. I completely missed the part about it, like reading as if you don't need deferred revenue enabled, right? It says if it's enabled.
So that's interesting. We'll see.
Okay, cool. Next, where's my screen? Screen's disappeared.
It is now possible to choose the site when creating the contract schedule plan. This was added to one of my clients, actually. Configure agreement,
contract, right?
Yeah.
Schedule, and we can create schedule dates. We can now choose the site here.
Yep.
They added a bunch of other fields as well.
They did.
Like type, agent, at-work hours. So some of these were from my clients. Appointment type, right? So we can do like whether it's a Teams or whether it's an on-site visit or whatever. There's still like one little bug with this. The work hours was like buggy in terms of like knowing. It was always for people like on the East Coast here or in America, like the time zone would cause problems. And if Sunday, for example, wasn't included in your work hours, you couldn't book, or like Saturday wasn't included in your work hours, you couldn't book Friday or something like that. It was some odd time something. I think they fixed that. But if you do something like daily or I think weekly, and then you try choosing your days, notice the calendar overlay. It's like breaking the selection, right? So you can't choose any of these days if you're picking on a date. So that's just a simple bug. You can just bypass that just by clicking the days and then removing the ones you don't want, right? As long as you're above the calendar, or if you can capture it without clicking on the date. But yeah, they'll fix that soon.
There's only one thing I'm still waiting for in here, and that's additional agents. We have clients that may have a couple of engineers going out on sites regularly. I was like, we need the ability to do additional agents. That would just wrap this up.
Make it like a multi-select, but then like you have to know which appointment to go. Like which calendar is going to be the host calendar, I guess.
It gets complex. That's why it's not on there, I think.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, we'll add all these, but I really want that bit. And he was like, it's complicated. And I was like, fine.
Yeah.
We do offer a lot to vibe code it in for them, but they don't seem to take us up on our offer. I don't know why that would be.
Added a self-service setting. Automatically ticket details page of tickets updated. Oh, that's cool.
I don't know why that's a checkbox, though. You're going to get me raging again about unnecessary checkbox.
Yeah, you should just turn this on
automatically. Who wouldn't want this?
Where exactly do you think this setting is? It's got to be on the self-service portal, right?
Well, I don't know. It could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere, right?
Exactly. Lookup, mate. I don't know.
Could be advanced settings.
Yeah, it should hopefully be on here.
There it is. It's in self-service portal.
It's not even checked by default. Brilliant. There we go. Yeah. Guess I'll put that in my newsletter to all my clients to go and turn that on.
Yeah, we should let the people know to turn that on. Unstable.
God damn it.
Email autocomplete functionality. Oh, this is interesting. Email CC on the new ticket screen will now follow the setting with regard to which email addresses to show. Okay. Resolve an issue with supplier second, third email addresses appearing for customer email autocomplete. I'm not sure what that means.
Made changes to the email complete functionality. Email CC and ticket screen with the following regards. So
These guys duplicate email addresses. Okay, I wouldn't know if I would call that like. I guess it does say changes, not improvements.
if a user has duplicate email addresses and only one will appear in the email autocomplete. Duplicate email addresses.
Huh.
I don't understand. Are we going to pick the right user? Like, how do we?
I don't know. How does it know which one to show? Yeah.
Yeah. How does it? That's my problem, right? How does it know
Let's
who
move
we're
on.
showing? Yeah. Fine. Okay. Well, that might cause an issue. Let's be positive though, and it's going to be.
It'll be fine. Just don't have duplicate
perfect.
emails. It'll be great.
I mean, that is the root solution there, isn't it?
There is a setting, by the way, that you can turn on under users general settings to unique email addresses. And I think that when this is on, when you add a new user that has an existing email address already, like the same email, it'll prompt you to say it already exists. Do you want to merge or something like that? I feel like there's a prompt that says that this user address is already in use. So you can turn that on to prevent this. But this should really be like you should not have two people with the same email address in your system, because that doesn't work in the real world and it shouldn't work in Halo.
Yeah.
Right?
Just an FYI on that one, if you do start looking into users and you find they do exist, merging them is the right answer. There's a setting, I think you have to turn that on as well in config general users, ability to merge users. Also, if they exist under unknown, move them to the right site. There you go, allow merging of users. Cheers, Mendy. Yeah, if you do find you've got a user in unknown, don't just try and deactivate them and delete them. Move them to the right customer and then merge if you can do that is the much better way of doing it. Because if not, you can have remnants of the same client all over the place and it gets really confusing. One email per user is 100% the best way to do it.
Yeah. I actually do not like to merge if I can. If depending on what the user has, like I can just reassign all tickets. So I do that to the other user. The only time, like merging also includes like custom field data and other data about other email or whatever other information the user may have. And most of the time, when it comes to duplicate users, like the second user doesn't have anything useful. If it does, then you can then merging is good. But usually I just reassign all and then delete the user. So instead of
either way,
merging,
yeah.
But yeah, either way.
Either way, just don't have more than one email address for one user. There's the
right.
root.
That's the bottom line.
When using the Domotz integration, a button will show to open the asset in Domotz on the device in Halo. Okay, cool.
Pretty straightforward.
Wait, agents must be imported from Domotz for this to function.
I just think that this is just saying the asset must be imported from Domotz. Oh, maybe it's talking about the Domotz agent. It's talking about the Domotz agent, which is like the probe or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Talking about.
Unless it means because Domotz has permissions around who can actually remote into things, maybe it needs that permission tree.
I think it's just a deep link, like anything else.
I know, import agents, look, down there. Is that agents?
Right here,
agent site mapping.
Agent site mapping.
Right,
so
okay.
each agent is a site, basically.
Yeah.
So that's like your network probe, right? The agent is the network probe. And so that's how it knows what each network probe is assigned to a client side in Halo.
Yeah.
And so it needs to have that there. And I think that the device link probably goes through the agent ID or something like that, right? That's what it knows to look at. So that's probably why it needs the agent as well.
It's super cool, Domotz, for that. If you never used it, the SSL connection to like switch interfaces is you basically tunnel through, but it's great. I mean, I used to be on a VPN to all my infrastructure. It wasn't a problem, but I remember testing it and I was like, oh, this is super cool.
I have Domotz for my house. We can bring it up on screen if you want to see it.
Let's not nerd out on your home network. We spoke about that in the MSP thing, and I think it was well structured, Mendy. How many VLANs do we need to look at? What we're looking at next, the parameter file type filter can be used in the URL of a request to return only tickets with attachments that match the file type passed.
That's pretty cool.
That's curious. Yeah.
So you like star.pdf and anything with the PDF gets returned, or star.docx and anything with the docx gets returned. That's pretty interesting. like an
never
additional
used to it, but-
filter parameter in the query parameter for the tickets API endpoint, right?
Hmm.
Be
That's cool,
interesting.
I like
It'd be
that.
nice if they had like a actual like, hey, using the tickets endpoint. But yeah.
You have to go figure out where it's used.
Mhm.
What we got next? Anything good? A setting has been added to control the default for invoice separately for new recurring invoices. Okay, cool. Config
straightforward.
billing recurring invoices. What this means, it kind of in the title, but if you've got clients, if you've got the global setting turned on to merge your invoices, as long as the site matches on a recurring invoice, it will always merge them together. What you can do on a recurring invoice template, as I call it, is select this checkbox, which says don't merge this or group this, basically. Invoice this as a standalone one. So it's a way to, nicely invoice clients that need segregation of invoices. I don't know, you might invoice them for their licenses separately versus their users or whatever you need.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit like the functionality of merging is a little bit more in depth than that too, also because you can actually, like, when the recurring invoice runs, you can go and actually grab any outstanding labor charges and add it to the same invoice. You can grab any outstanding travel time or items issued or anything like that can be included on this invoice run. And when you do have the invoice separately checked, I'm showing it on the screen, but apparently it's not on the screen.
It's there now.
When we have this checked, the invoice separately, like, notice everything disappears, right? So you actually you can't merge them together if it's an invoice. So the new setting, what they're talking about, because this is always here, what they're talking about is under configuration, billing, recurring invoices. They added a default setting to control that initial value during see if I can find
invoice
it.
separately. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's by default right here.
Which is cool.
Awesome.
I don't know why you'd ever need it, but if you do, it's there.
Yeah. I guess if everything you do is always going to be separate, like, A, you're probably doing something wrong, and B, you can
just change the global setting to not merge them.
Exactly.
But anyway, it's now possible to update the Pax8 subscription quantities from the subscription details in Halo. What now?
You can request, you can increase the subscription from Halo, and it'll go back to
I
the API,
see.
and it will increase the API through the API. It'll update.
I thought it meant you could go to subscriptions, change the integer. I was like, why the hell would you want to do that? But no, it means
no. There'll be
a post
button.
back to packs. Okay, fine.
Yeah, there'll be a button on top. So I don't know if you've ever seen like the CSP, the direct CSP integration.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
and you can increase licenses from there. It's the same exact thing. You'll have a button on top of the license to say get more licenses, and you tell it how much. And as it says, you can only go up. You can't go down. Because Pax8 doesn't let you use the API to schedule a decrease, right? So you can't. The decrease has to be like available right now, basically. If you try it, otherwise it'll fail. So right now,
see if this build has Pax8, but it doesn't linked. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, it's cool though. It's one of those things. I don't know. I don't know. It's
dangerous. You have to have some really good. You have to have some really good processes on the other side of things to ensure that you have a correct quantity of subscriptions. Otherwise, because anyone can just go increase, and you want to know that happened. You want to make sure that it's not too many. You want to make sure that you're not committing to a year of licenses that are going to cost you a fortune by accident, right? There's a lot of danger there.
So our stance, we do a lot of automation with new users and leavers. We never handle licenses. We'll apply licenses if they're available. If not, we write to the ticket, go and converse with what licenses you need, because there's so much logic you have to build in. Is someone leaving in a week? Are we buying a different type of license? What is there? Like this, with NCE, it's made it even more complicated. So we've just said, no, put a human in. We'll make all the shell of it. If you need to buy a license, go and use your brain and try and figure it out. I'm not being responsible for Connor. It bought E5 for a year, and now I'm £700 in the hole. I'm like, oh, sorry. And like a 14-day window to cancel.
Oh, the automation makes you money, and automation spends your money. It's how it works.
Yeah, yeah. I like to reduce risk at Renada, and that is a decision I've made as a company owner to not get into that hot water. Thank you. Yep, let our clever clients pick it themselves.
Settings have been added to the sales order configuration to only allow sales orders to be invoiced once all lines are consigned.
Nice.
All right, pretty straightforward.
Unless you've got a
Consignment means
product
the
on there
hardware
that
is
should be
delivered.
consigned, and then you can't invoice. But yeah, I like it.
Using the
reading,
setting for
Mendy?
mark emails from different domains other than the end user's domain are as private, the email addresses in the to and CC field from the ticket will also be considered. I am very confused. What does that mean?
So basically,
No, I know what the feature is. Let me just clarify where my confusion is in a moment first.
that would be helpful. Yeah, I was about to tell you what this means, thinking you're an idiot, but you're not. So
no, I know what it means. It's the confusion comes from mark emails from different domains, which means that the from address is the consideration. Why would it also look at the to and CC field? Because the whole point is that it's coming from a different domain. The to and CC is a recipient, not a.
I'm assuming if there's other people on there outside of the organization that they're flagging it, maybe that is the point.
My concern is that this is a complete change in functionality, and it should be a separate setting.
Yes, which is curious because Halo like adding settings. And the time they don't add it as a setting is the time you want
that could have been broken up into two settings.
Yeah. Do you want to also include CC fields basically and two fields? Yeah.
Because there are
this could start flagging loads of things, right? Is the problem?
Yeah, for sure. This will absolutely cause problems for people who are using it with the intended design, right? Like that's. Anyways, I'm gonna write this up to be emailed later. We'll move on.
Make a note. Oh, Halo, we're gonna love us.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is massive, by the way. The fact this didn't do
great.
this has caused me utter heartache over the past few months.
How much do you love the Avalara integration?
We don't need to do that right now. Like this is a family friendly live stream, Mendy.
Sure. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
What do you guys say about this?
It's good you can do that because you couldn't do that. I've had to have Halo do it in the database for me. That's all I'm going to say in it. Let's move on before I get angry. Scrolling down. Added ticket source.
Visibility.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
I always hide it though. I don't know. I feel like it should just be automatic.
Ticket source as dynamic field criteria. No, but it's saying the field itself can be used as dynamic field. So it's not saying the field, right? Here, let me just clarify. It's not saying that let's just go to incident, for example, and go to field list. My Alexa started listening to me. Okay. All right. So it's saying that I can use any other field. Let's say I want followers to only show up if
I read it wrong.
The
I hear what you're saying.
Of source. There we go. This is what it added, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Is equal to then like manual or whatever, right? Or something like that. So I can hide it if it's automatic or something. Which is interesting because I don't know when you would use that when it's automatic because like the API doesn't really present the fields. I guess you can bypass like required field conditions using that method, theoretically speaking.
Yeah. I mean, in the 4 doing this and hundreds of Halo have never required the setting, but now we know it's available. I bet we use it in the next week. That's what that's a classic thing that we do. Oh, we can now do that thing we never needed to do before. Yeah. Okay. I like that actually. I originally had no feelings, but yeah, I like that. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Next, a setting has been introduced to my show note tab. Yeah. Settings to improve performance when listing tickets by next activity date. Interesting.
Use the V2 next activity date. Why?
It take up to an hour to complete.
Why?
It must be like re-indexing the timestamp in some way. And then, like, I wonder if it's storing the timestamp as a string right now. I'm trying to think, like, what they could have done to make that slow.
Next activity date exists. Let me just check my DBML. Next activity, I can tell you exactly what it is. Next activity date is on. Actually, I won't have it in here, will I?
Oh, it's going to be
I'll store it on
based off the next calendar appointment or task of it on ticket. So it's probably not a column by itself. It's probably looking at an aggregate of like the calendar appointments table or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have that. We don't have it. I don't know. I don't have that in my schema.
I'm pretty sure it's a dynamic field. It's not something that's in the database, right? So like looking at any ticket, for example, it'll be based off of an appointment. It'll be right here. Like this is the next activity date.
Yeah.
So it's.
But you can have it you can have it on a field in the column though. That's the thing.
Yes, it's a column profile. Like it's a column profile field as well.
Is that front end rendered then? Maybe.
So it's rendered the same way though, right? So now it'll be here if I refresh this page. Right now it's right here.
Maybe it's not stored then.
I don't think it is. I think it's just pulling from the latest appointment or the.
But then again, it has to do if they're redoing
the
something
earliest appointment. Yeah, so it must be something on the appointments table that they're rebuilding.
Maybe.
But in any case, what they're talking about is configuration, advanced settings, and then I don't know what they call it.
Use V2 next activity date.
There we go. It's pretty straightforward. Checkbox.
Brilliant.
Turning that on should give us the next activity date field. I guess there is a field. Big advance. I don't know. It says it can take up to an hour to complete, depending on the number of appointments on the system, I guess. Moving on.
I'm going to go look into it now. I'm confused.
Added permission for access to all departments. This permission can be found in department and team tabs for agents and roles. I don't know what that means. I guess the agent itself will have a permission to do that. This will provide base membership level to the agent for all departments.
I thought that was already there. I didn't know that wasn't an option.
I don't know what it's talking about. It must be like a new setting. Here it is.
Oh, but can't you just go to if you just edit?
Why don't you just do this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, what?
Yeah, like we do it through roles, right? So it's inherited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just like a little messy, but yeah, we can just grant the departments that they need
And
with the specific.
Maybe there's a company out there with like hundreds of departments that don't want to go through them all. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, but then it's unlikely you'd give everyone access to everything. I don't know. It just seems like a poor design.
I don't understand it either. I've never had this as a problem. I'm not saying it isn't a problem. It clearly is. Somebody somewhere needed it.
And it's not really an issue, but what were you saying?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is this from a role? Can we inherit this from a role? How about that? Like that'd be funny.
I'd imagine so. Surely.
Sure. Yeah, you can. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious if it wasn't available on the role level.
Manually go through each agent set in that box, yeah.
Oh my god. All right, moving on. Quote countersigning via email links. Yay. You can now countersign quotations via email. Enable this functionality, go to configuration ticket type, select ticket type, settings tab, and enable this send countersign request email when the end users approve the quote option. And then the agent assigned to the quote will get the email. Otherwise, you can force an agent to get that countersign email. Email template 351 is used when sent. Countersign approve and countersign reject variables have been added to the template. And add a quote countersign.
I don't quite understand this because the way I work is I countersign all my quotes, but I sign it as I send it, right? And we variable it in at the agent signature. This is saying you send the quote, the client signs it, and then you can then sign it after the fact. Why?
Because you don't want to send out a paper, a blank check, basically. You don't want to send out a paper with your signature on it until after the client's agreed to it. So if you send out the quote, right, with it signed, and the client gets it and then changes the wording, they now have your signature on a document you didn't agree to. If you send it,
Halo, they can't change the PDF in Halo and send it back.
I mean, it's not about Halo specifically. The process of countersigning is in general a legal process that comes to like when talking about document signing, right?
I get that. I'm just saying in Halo, this isn't needed. This is just an extra manual step.
It depends on your. It's more about like compliance processes and operational policies in terms of how you sign contracts, right? So I'm not.
Evidently, yeah.
So all it's doing is it's sending a blank document without signature, and then the client signs it. Then you get it back, you review it, and then you sign it. So you don't sign it until the client signs it. I agree with you. I think that like we don't need necessarily to use this, but I have had clients who have insisted that they needed to do it this way.
I've never come across it. Not saying it
There
doesn't exist, but
there is another workaround that we've used. Like we can use the workflow actions and then the agent signature field on the action.
That's what we use. Yeah.
To basically leave the document blank and then only sign it after the customer signs it. Basically, so we've done it that way. But this is a cool new like an official feature for the same process, basically.
If someone needs it, it's there. It's a classic theme.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're wasting time, but we'll leave it there. Added a system action for forwarding. System action will add FW to email subjects and mark the action as private. Oh, nice. That's good. I need this. Don't need to be an action, but I will often do a meeting.
Why wouldn't they include this on the regular forward? Right? If I'm forwarding from a ticket, why would they not just make that default behavior, or at least give us a checkbox to be like treat this as private or something like that when they're doing the forward? Right?
I don't disagree, but it's an action now, so you can now make a button.
It is an action, so we can do it as a system action. Yeah.
I can now do it as another button. Yeah.
Oh, it's another button on the ticket. Yep. Well, that's what action groups are for, you know?
Oh, I logged a big feature request about action groups. I'm sure Tim loved it yesterday, and Morgan, as I sent it across. I've asked for a lot of things, but quite simply is add a chevron to them so we can dictate. What I've done in my production is use a down arrow emoji to indicate that the pill is actually a group.
Drop down?
Because it was bugging me. So I used AI, which they always love, and sent them some example mock-ups of what I would do with the pills, which they obviously loved and were like, thank you so much. And yeah, definitely don't hate me for doing shit like that. But they're adding some improvements. I got a ticket, so I was like, wicked, awesome. 10 out of 10. This is all the stuff we do for you all, look, to make your lives better. Waste my time. That's what happens there. But yeah, good. I'm excited for it. But added the ability to re-import ticket type, teams and agents, and tag data when running the Freshdesk migration on already imported tickets. Okay.
Not much there.
Added access control to asset fields. Oh, God. I just hate access control.
I change the way they do access control. I just don't know of a better structure.
I think I'm just burnt from it. I'll be honest. Like the pain it's caused me. I'm just whenever I see the word access control, I've got an email in my inbox. Tim was like, "What change of access control?" And I'm like, I don't want to reply.
So they're talking about like here under asset management, asset fields. Probably within here we can now grant control of that field just specifically.
Yeah. Which is great, right? I don't like the fact the fact it's there is great, but the management of it is just a nightmare.
It has to be like an entire like Halo needs a new module called access control that will allow us to see, control, and view from a high level like everything that we've done. Because it's impossible to know like where we've granted like a specific role access to things or whatever, right? It's
we
like,
don't know who has access to what. Which isn't a massive issue when you're live, but the argument I always have, I know this with like permissions and roles, is if someone leaves your business and someone comes in to fill their shoes, how do you know what they had access to? And at the minute, it's very hard to do that. You could write a report to do it, I'll be honest, but that's not particularly fun, is it? So yeah, but hey, there's now control and access to asset fields. Great, more access control. Don't me lose my mind. Added an option
like a hidden checkbox mandatory when agents are logging tickets.
Oh, I like that.
So that would be like populated by like a lookup, right? Lookup is going to control the true false value of the. So you use like a checkbox to like validate that everything is properly filled in. You use the lookup to do the logic on that validation, and then the lookup has to be putting that checkbox true.
I'm gonna make you a little bit sick now. I've kind of got a rule in it that we don't really use checkboxes ever, and we use a single select yes no because I think it's 10 times more flexible than having a checkbox. Especially because I try and avoid checkboxes where possible. We do it for checks, like you're saying with lookup. So the fact you can do this now makes them a little bit more flexible, but as a whole, try and avoid checkboxes for the most part.
So this is only for like when it's hidden, right? Because like so the problem with making a checkbox mandatory is now you're basically forcing a state. Right?
Yes. A yes.
And so you're not forcing a yes/no decision. You're forcing always yes. Like they have to answer that question. It has to be yes in order for them to move forward. Which is why we use radio buttons or like input selection yes/no, right? I make them radio buttons, by the way, that's why I said it. But
Yeah.
the yes no forces you to choose one or the other, and you can still choose no. If you do checkbox, like this, it's like on off switch, right? So that's why we don't use it. But this is different because it's a hidden checkbox. So the agent's not the one checking it. The lookup is running. The SQL lookup is going to run when they're inputting data, and that lookup is going to validate that everything is filled in correctly, for example. And if it is filled in correctly or certain conditions are met, then it's going to return a true, and it's going to check that box. Otherwise, it can return something else, and then we can pop a message. We can display, whatever on the screen, and so to like drive the form to be filled correctly, we can drive the agent to the next step correctly. So that is kind of cool, but it is more like advanced usage.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm all for that one. Where are we? I've lost my bearings.
Added a new setting.
Yeah, there we go.
To allow sales orders to have a different site from the end user site. So that's interesting because right now, like the sales order is going to be tied to the user.
Yes.
So and you can't change that. It's really annoying. So now it lets you actually, like, a user from like a regional user can request a sales order for like an underlying site or for a specific site, or they can request cross-site stuff at this point. The bit I'm confused about is what? The sales order site's only editable via the API.
Yeah, well, I'm also confused now because I thought quotes are bound to a single person at a single. Yeah, so, but no, quotes can be site driven. So you can select a site on a quote.
But when you raise that quote, when you raise a sales order from that quote, the sales order is going to revert to the site of the user of the opportunity.
Yeah. So what's the problem? We can pick the site on the quote.
So let's say I'm Mendy, right? I'm in site A.
Yes, you are, sir.
Okay, so I'm in the site Rising Tide under the larger company of amazing Halo PSA consultants, and I want to raise a quotation for Renada to say, get a new computer because your computer keeps crashing, or get a new microphone because you always have audio issues, right?
I do.
So I reach out to my supplier and I raise the quote, whatever, my Halo guy who's going to create the quote for me, for you. And so because I'm the user of the opportunity, the quote can be put to your site, which is completely fine. But when the sales order gets created, the site of the sales order is going to be me, Rising Tide, as opposed to Renada. Because I'm the user of that opportunity. This is how something that, like, even back when I was at my old MSP, they had the same issue over and over again because they do nursing homes. And so this is something we had been requesting. And I don't think I don't know if they fixed it. I lost touch because I wasn't not really there anymore. But
I'm in the same boat right now is the problem. I'm just trying to validate. Hold on, that is where are we at? Not included site. Doing that there. I'm doing this off screen. That creates a sales order.
Just do it on my screen and share it, right?
Yeah, I'm just valid. I mean, I can't even make a sales order right now, which is the first issue, just because that is zeroed out. Then all 0. Come on, Connor.
You can bring my screen back real quick.
Yeah, well, Al, we are idiots. We don't know how to use this. There we go. Look at us go. Cheers, Al. Thank you. I don't know how I got through last week.
Annoying dude, test quote. We'll raise this. Pick a date.
Sales order 26, site not included.
So this is going to this name. Yeah, did you do it already?
Yeah, so when you do create the sales order, it reverts the site back to the user's site. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so it's very annoying, very dumb.
But that hasn't fixed it anyway, so
it doesn't fix it anyways because the sales order site is only editable via the API. Like, why would they make that decision?
Yeah, I thought it was ages ago. I remember this being a problem, but I thought it was fixed. But
I would be curious, Connor, if we turn this setting on and then raise the sales order from the quote, that's technically from the API. Like, is it raising it? Is it going to allow us to? Is it going to pull from the quote, or is it going to pull from the opportunity? Right? Like, that would be interesting to find out.
Where's the setting?
You don't have it yet. It's 202. You don't have it yet.
I'm in my sandbox build.
Configuration sales orders.
Configuration sales orders. What is it asking for? Allow sales order of a different site from an end user site. It doesn't say in the setting. Just go to the setting, you'll see it. It doesn't explicitly say only editable via the API. So,
but the release
notes do. Yeah, well, yeah. We know that. So let me just pick my Joel, test user here, and you're using the site not included. I'm going to add a product over here. I'm going to add a cost. I'm doing this off screen, by the way, everyone, not to bore you all with my rapid clicking and low FPS. Sales order 27, which then puts it over here. It does work.
Allow sales orders.
It does work. I'm just going to take the screen a second. Don't know how to do that. Connor demo. Here we go.
You want to know something else that's hilarious? Go back to the configuration.
Well, 2 seconds. So super quick. I just did 2 sales orders. So this one was the one I did before without that checkbox set, and it reverted back to main site. Just for clarity, by the way, on the quotation, I did set the site as not included site. If I just go back a second, go back. Or don't go back. That's the other option. I guess.
Previous browser tab.
On 27, not included site is now set, which has matched the quotation. So although it says via API only, I mean, technically Halo works via the API.
It is the API.
But
I think it's the interface. Like if you edit the sales order, can you change the set on the sales order directly?
No.
Right.
Not
So that's
after
what
the
we're
fact.
talking about. Right. Go to the configuration page for me. Was that setting a checkbox or was it a drop down?
It was a checkbox.
Okay, but in the
You're
release
gonna
note,
say-
picture is a drop down.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
don't.
a drop down in the release note. Okay.
Just a reference, everybody, 20200 down to the bottom. And we are looking at, where are we?
949443.
Uh,
You can just control F 949.
yeah, I can. 949.
Yep. 443. Oh, you're on it's 2.202, not 2.200.
Ah, yeah, I'm in the past. There we go.
There you are.
Yeah, so it was definitely a drop down, and it is definitely
A checkbox in
a checkbox.
live,
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, we're in
Maybe
any
it'll
time.
change later on because we are on a later version, so they may have changed it later to be like that was dumb.
There'll be a setting, feature added, change from drop down to checkbox.
Exactly. We are at time, I think, which is why Elle's back.
Yes, I don't, I just,
to
I
wrangle us.
dilly dally until you guys are close to time, but made some good progress today. a lot more to cover.
We are almost done with this. We only have like 12 or 15 more.
Yeah, I think we've been averaging about 30 features per call. So our next one's going to be November 11th on a Tuesday again. So we'll look forward to everyone on that day.
If you
Awesome.
liked the pop-up notes, despite me and Mendy getting chopped off, we're not exactly beautiful to look at, so I'm sure you're not really sad. But if that was annoying, let us know in someone's comments, and we may read it. If not, we'll try and
Might read it.
get somewhere else. Dylan will read them, and then he'll let me know, and I'll probably forget. But we'll try. I'll really try. Is what I saw this one. I saw the note. I try, and we're trying to better ourselves all the time.
Yeah, and we can also move your faces. Like there's a few things that we could do. So we'll just try it out. We're open.
Options.
We're open to feedback. So anyway,
Thank you,
Thanks,
Elf, for keeping
guys.
up with the versions. Did a
doing my
stellar
best.
job,
You guys
mate.
are quick.
10 out of 10.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.